Here we are again, just 3 days before Christmas. And the university's officially in shutdown, which is great news because we can just pull back. It's a hot day. What can I say? Not as hot as the last few. I want to talk a little bit about persistent misgendering. Not necessarily intentional, but when people have a mental framework that says you may be trans but you're not actually a man, or you're not actually a woman, people have a right to think that, but when it's reflected in language, and when you are in a collegial relationship, it can be really difficult on both sides. For example, how do you point out, since you already started on a footing of being a certain social gender, that they've made a mistake? You can maybe reply, for example, in an email and include your pronouns, or if you're doing it in Spanish, use your masculine or feminine endings where they haven't. But how do you know if they've actually taken it on board? Does it matter? I don't have a definitive answer to this, except to say that for those of us who transition because of a profound sense of misalignment, this brings the misalignment jarring back at us. And on that side of it, I think that trans people face that jarring quality where no one else does. Is it jarring to be corrected? Well, yes, but what stakes are in the correction? Is it about a sense of psychological coherence? Yes, it is. If you're corrected, do you lose psychological coherence? No. About yourself? No. Because you're already standing on a basis of never having those issues come up for you. Never being misgendered, actually. Not in that way, anyway. I mean, I can't account for every person's bloody experiences. But it becomes a cognitive load for trans people, and, we'd rather not have to do the labour, because it is awkward for us too, but it's not awkward in the same way that it's awkward to the listener or the reader, because you can feel momentarily awkward or embarrassed for having made a mistake, but we actually have to take that on. That is to say, they think I'm really and not who I say I am. So it's really an expression of inequality. I don't know how to make this clearer. I don't know even to whom this video would be aimed. But I do know the following. And that is to say, we're living in times where this becomes a critical issue, because so many discourses and even policies, for example, in the UK and the US, invalidate us and try to strip us of our identities. So I want you to be mindful of how language has effects at a psychological level, but also how that kind of dovetails or not with the kinds of issues that trans people around the world are having to put up with. That is to say, a weaponized or politicized form of invalidation. Thanks for listening.